Howdy y'all, we are here out at my favorite little pond. Gonna do some spring fishing. See what we can do. Water is a little dirty. Just a tad. But I think it's workable. I think we'll be just fine. Jeez. There we go. Nice little half pounder to pounder. Not a bad one. And we get more stuff. There we go. Another little chunky one. Another good one right there. That's one. You can tell this one's been eating craws by looking at their lips. You got big old red lipstick on. Look at that. That's how you know they've been eating craws. What's going off with it? It's good, like, that's a chunky 1 pounder, probably. I can do the same. Circle back with it. Bigger one can get me that one down there that bit 2 or 3 times to actually commit to it. That's actually not a bad one right there. Put the rod down for a second. It's a real pretty one right there. Alright, let's get it back. That's another good one. 1 pounder or so. Another good little solid one. Another good chunky one. It's about the same size. Little chunk. Ooh, good pretty one right there. There he goes. Get out of there, boy. Nice little one again. About the same size. Maybe a little bit bigger than the other ones we've gotten. Oh, just barely hooked. Nice one right there. Probably about a pound or so, maybe a pound and a half. Got a little chunk ball right there. That might be a better one. No, it isn't. That's another good one right there. Good solid pound and a half or so. Little one right there. Alrighty, y'all, we're still fishing. Now, changing it up. Throw this little sun gun. See if I can hook up on a swimbait fish. Still haven't caught anything on this or the other big one I got. I plan to throw both, and you know, we'll see what we get. Since it is a bigger bait, I'll lower my expectations just a tad. Just because bigger bait, you don't know if you'll actually end up getting a bite. If I did get a bite, we'll know. Well, hopefully we'll know that's a bigger fish. Oh, sheesh. Oh my God, I pulled it all the way in. Oh my God. He followed it all the way in. Oh my God, it's like a 2-pounder. Oh my God, dude, I was not expecting that first cast. Have a follow-up like that. That's a decent sized fish too. And he's still sitting here looking at it. That was crazy. I was not expecting that to happen so fast. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we got one. Got one on the swim. Oh no! Well, I'll count that as one. I'll count that as one. He didn't really bite it. I guess he did. Cool. He was barely hooked. But I'll count that as one on it. There we go. That's the one we want right there. Get down. I said on the boat, but nah. On the bank, baby. On the bank. This one got hit by something. There we go. First fish on that swim bait. Look at that. That's not a bad one. Let me get the weight of this sucker real quick, and we'll let him back. All right, y'all, 2.5 pounder. Gonna let him right back. Very nice. On the swim bait. Like midsummer or summer, fall time. I mean, I doubt I wouldn't be able to catch fish on it, but. Good one on a lizard right there. Little tiny one. Hey everybody, welcome to the gear review for the video. I'm going to be going over what we used to catch my fish in the video today and how I actually fished it. So, first half of the video, really throwing a lot of Texas rigs, since at this pond that I fished a pretty decent amount. They really like their stuff going low and slow, so I like to cater to that a little bit. So first we started off with the Googan Baits Crackin Craw. Actually started off with a 3-inch version and like a natural color or something like that, but then eventually switched to the the bigger and then Watermelon Red Flake version. Since I completely ran out of the pack, just caught a bunch of fish on that really quick. And fishing on an extra wide gap hooked, pegged on my 7-foot medium heavy rod, throwing I think 40-pound braid, 20-pound leader on this little 6 or 7 speed bait caster. Just casting it out either parallel or maybe at an angle to the bank, or depending where I was at, may be different, and just slowly working it back to me, right? Trying to imitate a craw, right? So you do a couple little pops maybe, just try to imitate, match the hatch in a craw way or whatever. So caught a good couple fish on that. I think biggest going around maybe 1.5 pounds. Then also switched over to a lizard like this, like a pumpkin chartreuse kind of color right here. Really, because we're in March, weather was starting to pretty decently warm, so trying to see if I can't get any bigger fish on something like that up in the profile, and fishing it, not pegging it in regards to the weight at that point, and then fishing around the same areas, casting a few feet off the bank and everything, and that time not doing too many like bounces, particularly maybe just rising the rod up a little bit and let it go down, maybe rising it and doing a little pop midway. Mixing it up, trying not to make it too uniform in any way. So, and same thing with that one. Probably got about the biggest, probably was like 1.5 pounds or so. Nothing too crazy. So that was the Texas rigs that I threw. Moving over to the next bait that I used was that of a bluegill swim bait, and you know, being that this time of year, thought throwing something like this could be pretty good for spawning fish. Didn't see any spawning fish, so couldn't actually find that out specifically, but did have some pretty decent success with it. So no joke, I don't know if I kept it in video, but my first cast with this thing at one end of the pond, was able to have a fish follow it all the way up to the bank and even jump out of the water trying to get it on the way out. Missed it, and he stayed right in front of me. Tried casting at him a couple more times, wasn't able to get him. And before I get too much into other details on it, throwing this on my 7-foot medium heavy rod as well. 40-pound braid is all braided on like a 7-speed reel here. And really kind of either casting along the bank, out in a deeper portion, working it back at an angle, like I said, like I did with the Texas rigs, just depending, you know, mixing it up, right? And just slow rolling it, not trying to make it too fast so it would be unnatural. So like I said, I had the first cool experience with it when I first casted it. Had a couple other followers, got like a little dink on it that I did a quick release on. And then eventually got the biggest fish of the video, being that of the 2.5 pounder. Which that thing choked this whole deal. This whole swim bait was in his mouth. And I'm not telling you, it's not a small, I mean, it's as big as, you know, it's not a small bait by any means. So definitely a good fish that choked it and wasn't letting it go for anything. So yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. I tried fishing some other stuff. You know, the wacky didn't catch me any, which was kind of surprising. But then also fished spinnerbait, some other stuff, just since the water was a little bit dirtier than I was expecting. But was nonetheless able to get a couple fish on Texas rigs and whatnot, as well as on a swim bait. So it must have not have been that dirty. But yeah, I think that's about all the rigs that we ended up catching some fish on, and about how I fished everything. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video as much as I did, fishing at my favorite pond and having a good time out there as always. So yeah, I hope, like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will catch y'all on the next one whenever we get to it. See you in the next one. Bye.